Hello all, welcome to TechTrapture. So today we are going to implement one amazing data engineering project in a Google Cloud. So what we are going to create today is we'll be creating ETL data pipeline in Google Cloud. So what is ETL? Extracting the data, transforming the data, and then loading the data. So we are not only focusing on ETL part, we are also focusing on the reporting part. So for each data analytics pipeline, there are two sections. One is ETL, another one is reporting. In ETL, you will load the data, like extract the data, transform the data, and load the data. And reporting, you have to create dashboards and report to visualize that data using a different visualization tools. Okay, so that is a complete data analytics pipeline. So we are not going to create only ETL part, so we are creating our BI part as well. So that is a complete data pipeline and data analytics project, I would say, instead of a data engineering project. So in this project, you will learn how to extract the data, how to transform data, how we can load the data, so how to create and automate all complete this process using the data pipeline. So we are going to see. So one good thing about this project that we are going to implement everything from the scratch. So I will be creating code from scratch. I will create every single piece of this data analytics project on console in this video itself. So nothing is created already and I will be using that. So everything I will create in the video, and if any issue we face, we'll troubleshoot that in the same video and we'll go further. So you will learn how to like troubleshoot these kind of issues, and definitely if you are doing something good, you will always face some issues, some error. So do not afraid of that. So we'll do it together. So let's first see what we are going to do this. So I'll just go with a flow where like how you will work when you are working on the real-time project. So initially you will get some requirement from the client, you will get some problem statement, and how you should start working on that requirement. So like creating your data flow diagram, identifying your resources, which resource to use, identifying your services, then creating kind of small architecture for your like data analytics, and then how you try to implement that all pieces one by one, and then you will join all pieces together. Okay, so we'll see this together. So let's first try to understand what is a client requirement, what is a usual requirement for this project. So this is a problem statement and the requirement for this project. So what is the problem statement? That you are tasked with creating a data pipeline to extract employee data from various sources like mass sensitive data, information within the data, and load into the BigQuery. Additionally, you are required to develop a dashboard to visualize the employee data. So what is the problem statement? That we have to extract employee related data. If there is any sensitive information like PAN number or salary or anything can be sensitive like personal information, if anything is there, and if client want that information not to display on the visualization, then we'll mask that data before loading. So suppose there is a PAN number in a user data, so before loading into BigQuery, we have to mask that PAN number. So if you get your like credit card bill, your credit card bill is not shown in your PDF bill always a 16 digit, only last 4 digit will be displayed. Same for PAN card, same for Aadhaar card. So that data is not publicly shared across any platform. So same, the base security practices will follow. Before loading the data, we'll mask that sensitive data and then we'll load into a BigQuery table. So that is client requirement. Extract the data, mask sensitive information, and then load data into the BigQuery. Additionally, we are required to create visualization, so client can easily see how many employees are there, which employees belong to which department, and their joining date. So all these things they can visualize on the dashboard. So that is our like problem statement. Now what is the requirement? So data extraction, like extract employee data from multiple sources. That is our first thing in data extraction. So we'll see how we can extract the data if someone is going to send that data, if we have to pull that data from some API, or we have to generate that data by our own. So there are a lot of options for data extraction. So we'll see. So if someone is going to ingest data already, so we'll see that options, and we'll first extract employee data. Second will be the data masking. We'll see how we can mask that data. We'll be doing any complex coding that mask data, or we'll be using any APIs to mask that data, or we'll be using some services to mask that data. So we'll explore that options as well. Okay. Third thing is data loading into BigQuery. So we'll load data into the BigQuery. So once data is available, we'll load that data after masking. But how we'll be loading? We'll be using a data flow. We'll be using like Python custom coding, will be directly using Airflow. So there are multiple options, but we are trying to implement a best solution which will be easy to implement, which is like easy to maintain. So we are going to implement that solution where even you don't need to write a lot of codes, lot of complex code. So we'll see all factors, and for implementing any solution there are multiple ways. Okay, but it depends on the client requirement and your budget and your like what are your like goal to achieve that requirement. It depends on all factors. So to achieve one goal you are multiple options. So always remember, if you are working as a cloud architect or data engineer or DevOps engineer, so to achieve a one target you will always have multiple options. So you have to one best suited solution you have to implement. The third will be the data visualization. So here you will develop a web based dashboard using appropriate visualization tool. So you will use Google Studio or Tableau or any custom dashboard. So these are like client requirement and we have to implement that requirement. But as we are implementing this in Google Cloud, definitely we'll use a Google Cloud tech stack. So what are the services we are going to use in this project? Now this is our requirement. Now we finalize, okay, we will use these services. So which services we are going to use? So we'll be using Python for data extraction. So we'll extract the data using Python. Then we'll use a cloud storage for storing that raw data. Then we'll use a cloud data fusion as a data pipeline, because we already seen multiple videos how to load the data from cloud storage to BigQuery, but here we have to apply some transformation. So transformation is data masking, there is some transformation, might be other things like we have to change date format, we have to remove comma, we have to keep full address, we have to join two columns. So any kind of transformation might be there. So we'll see that transformation, how we can do that transformation in cloud data fusion without writing a single piece of code, because cloud data fusion is a no code solution for ETL. Okay, so we'll be focusing on cloud data fusion. Then we load that data into BigQuery and we'll visualize on Looker Studio. So this complete extraction, data load and transformation process will be orchestrating on a cloud composer using Airflow. So we'll see that as well. So and at the end we'll visualize data on Looker Studio. So if you are trying to implement this project, you will learn some Python, you will learn cloud storage, how to store data, you will learn data fusion, you will learn cloud composer, and you will learn the BigQuery query as well as Looker Studio. So this is like a best project for you if you are following it end to end and try to implement in your environment. So I'll be using a Google free trial account only. So cloud data fusion might cost you not cost you, it will just use your heavy credit, but we'll try to create a small instance of cloud data fusion and we'll delete it once we finish our project. Okay, so cloud data fusion and cloud composer are a bit heavy, because even the cloud composer create a GK cluster at the backend. So we'll see how we can keep our cost or credit usage minimum. Okay, so this is our tech stack. Now first thing what we'll do, now we understand the tech stack, we are trying to create some flow diagram or data flow diagram. So I'll go to draw.io and trying to create some small architecture. That is always your task when you are creating a new architecture or trying to set up a new solutions. Okay, so let me go and create a small architecture just within a few minutes. Okay, so let me go to the draw.io where I can create my architecture diagram. Let me open new tab and draw.io. So this is a tool to create architecture diagram. So I already created one video how to create effective architecture diagram. If you haven't seen, you can go back and check my Google Cloud architecture playlist where I have explained multiple sites and apps to create architecture diagram. Okay, so here we'll be creating our data pipeline. So I'll just create a simple architecture diagram. So first we have to extract the data. So we'll see if any icon for Python here. Okay, so for Python there is no icon. So what I will do, I will just copy an image Python. Okay, so I will just copy this image. Okay, so let me just keep it small. Okay, so what we'll be doing using Python, we'll be extracting data. So we'll be using one library. I will tell you which library we'll be using. So here we are not extracting. So there are multiple options. Either you can extract data from some API, someone will send directly files to your storage bucket. So but we'll be generating our own data. So we'll generate some dummy data for our employee. So I will generate dummy data for employee name, employee email ID, employee password, their joining date, and like other fields like what are common fields related to any employee data. So we'll be generating that data using Python, one library, and we'll store that data to the storage bucket. So now if you scroll down, you will see GCP icon here. If you don't see, you have to add plugins from here. So how to add? So go on more shapes at the bottom, scroll down and click on this Google Cloud Platform icon and GCP icon and apply. Then only you will see this GCP icon. So I'll be using one icon here, cloud storage. Okay, so using Python, I'll pull data and I will put this in cloud storage bucket. So my cloud storage bucket file will be then picked by data fusion. So I will go to here, I will check data fusion card. Okay, so I have here as well a cloud data fusion. Let me see if I have icon. Yeah, I have to pick card, not only icon. So anything data fusion, yeah, cloud data fusion. So then my data will be go to cloud data fusion. It will apply some transformation on the data, and after the transformation the data will go to the BigQuery. Okay, so I'll put it here. Then data will go to the BigQuery. Okay, and on BigQuery it will be, let me check if there is any looker icon. There is for Data Studio, but now it is renamed as the Looker Studio. So let me go to the, yeah, there is, yeah, so there is Looker. So then we'll visualize this on a Looker Studio. So here I will get some icon for dashboard, because on Looker we'll be creating dashboard. Okay, so I'll just pick one dashboard. Yeah, so here we'll be visualizing this data in Looker. So I'll just add to Looker. Yeah, so this is our simple data flow. So from Python I'll just add a label here. So from Python I will just pull data, extract data, and put the extracted data file into storage bucket. Then storage bucket will, the data fusion will pick data from storage bucket and transform and load that data into the BigQuery. So here all transformations and loading will happen in data fusion. So I'll just put that here. Transform and load data. Okay, so data fusion will transform, it will mask sensitive data, and then it will load to a BigQuery. And here BigQuery, using some query or direct table connection, we can visualize data on Looker Studio. So we can add some users as well if you want to make it more beautiful. So I'll just add users who are using that report, or we are sending these reports to user mailbox. Okay, so this is up to you how you want to use that report, so your user. So this is our simple diagram. Now we are going to implement this a data pipeline. So we'll first write a Python script to extract the data, then we'll put that extracted data to the cloud storage bucket, then we'll create one data fusion pipeline to pull the storage bucket data and apply transformation and load into the BigQuery, and then we'll visualize the data into the Looker Studio. So all these things. Okay, one more thing here. So I will use Airflow to orchestrate all these things, all these steps. Okay, so all these steps I will use Airflow that is Google like Cloud Composer, where Airflow is managed service. Okay, so I will use Cloud Composer here to orchestration. So my Airflow DAG will consist of one task to extract data, one task to, so this extract and load will happen in one task. Then the another task is to trigger data fusion pipeline and then load into the BigQuery. So this is my Airflow. Okay, so these will be, I orchestrate this one, because what is the orchestration? So first my Python, I have to automate this complete flow. So first extraction will happen in Python. Once extraction is completed, then only it will load data into storage bucket. Once data is available in storage bucket, then only it should trigger my data fusion pipeline. Once fusion pipeline is completed, then only transformation is completed, then only data should be loading into the BigQuery, and then it will be available for visualization. So now two things will take time: to create a composer environment and to create a cloud data fusion. So I'll quickly go and first create cloud data fusion instance and a composer instance, and then I will go to Python script, because mean the time we create Python script and pull data, these two instances will be up, because we are going to do everything in this single video. So I haven't created anything before, so first I will go and create composer environment, which will take around 30 minutes. And in second tab I will create data fusion instance. Okay, so let's create composer environment here. Okay, click on create environment. So we'll use composer 2, which is more like automated. Auto scaling is available there. Okay, name will give, so I'll just give the name composer dev, which is already available here. It will ask to grant permissions. I will grant permission from here itself. So keep default things only, don't try to customize more here. We'll use a small environment. Okay, so it is kind of 0.5 of CPU, 2 GB memory, 1 GB storage. That is fine for us, like small we are doing, and everything will keep as it is, and we'll create it. So it will take 20 minutes or around 30 minutes to create my cloud composer environment, and then we'll create data fusion. So if you are not aware of what is a cloud composer, so you can refer my complete playlist on cloud composer, where I already explained what is cloud composer, how to create DAG on composer. So you can refer that. So in this video also we'll create DAG from scratch. Okay, so do not worry, but if you want to learn more about cloud composer, you can refer my playlist on cloud composer and how to create multiple DAGs and tasks in a cloud composer. And here data fusion I haven't used in this project previously, so I have to enable API first. So I will enable API for data fusion. Okay, API is enabled. Now let's create a data fusion instance. Here also I'll just give the name data fusion dev. I won't do much customization, I will follow. So we'll try to create, this is in US Central 1, so here also we'll try to create in US Central 1. Okay, everything will keep as it is, basic developer. Okay, so we'll keep the basic only. Here also we'll grant permission, it will ask for required permissions to create a data fusion instance. Okay, and let's create it. So it will also take some time. Okay, so mean the time it is creating, so we can start working on a data extraction part. Okay, so let me go to my desktop and create one folder there, and there we can start working on the data extraction and creating our Python script. So let me go to, okay, here let me create one folder. I'll give the name ETL project. Okay, and let me go inside project and open VS Code here. So it will open VS Code directly here. Okay, and now I have to create one file, so I will give the name extract.py. Okay, Now what I will be doing to extract the dummy data, I will be using one Python library. So there is one Python library called a faker. So this create a fake data. So if you want to create like data for testing, this library is very useful. So it can provide all kind of data. It can provide like name data, address data, email data. So all kind of data it provide. Okay. So I'll just get that code directly from Google Gemini or ChatGPT, whatever you are comfortable. So I will just ask, help me to create Python script to generate employee data using faker library, also include some PII field. Okay, so let's see if Gemini will provide us a script to extract data using a faker library. Okay, so it provided data. So what it is saying, sharing, okay, we saying it is not able to provide PII data. So what we'll do, we'll just ask add password field as well. Okay, I'll just ask password and salary. So it will just add a password and salary field in this code. So currently it is creating data for first name, last name, job title, department, email ID, and okay, this is exact values. You can provide general idea. So what we can do, so we can just get another column name because he's not able to understand the requirement. So random character field I need. Okay, so from here it will create a random string. So okay, we'll use this data. In our code. So this is my another project. Okay, so let's just we'll check with chat GPT as well. So help me to add field for salary and password dummy. Okay, and it created a field fake random numbers. So password I need random characters. Character do not token it. So it is already giving masking data. So instead I asked, so do not, it is just give a random, okay, password characters. Okay, now it will create employee data. So I will just, so first we'll see, so number of employee, how much employees it will create. So currently it is, the count is 10. So this is showing yellow because we haven't installed libraries. So we have to install pip install faker first. So I'll install library first. Pip install faker. So it will install our faker library and then this error will go. Oh, warning, currently it is a warning. Okay, it is completed. Now let me execute a code, python extract.py, and we'll see the data generator object has no attribute company department. So we can change our code using what Gemini has mentioned for department, company department. Okay, here it is also showing the same. So what we'll do, the department name, we'll just ask again this error, what field they are having for Faker library. So we are just taking help from these AI tools because this is a new library we are using here. Okay, so it is using like job only. Based on that, as we are generating the dummy data, so okay, we'll use the same here. This is only we need a dummy data, so we can create any character string. Okay, now this created dummy data for 10 employees. Okay, and password they have created like a random string, which is a password. Now I want this data into a CSV file and upload on storage bucket. So I'll ask here, add data in CSV file and load into GCS bucket. So it will provide us code also. Okay, so it provided complete code. Now let's copy. I will now copy it. Okay, and what I will do, so see how to install this library as well. If you haven't installed, I have already installed, that is why it is not giving error for me. And what I will do now, I will create storage bucket. So let me go and create storage bucket. In the same project, so we are using a POC project, so it will take some time to create composer and Dataproc instance. So cloud composer sometimes might give an error because of free tier quota error, so you have to check if you are already existing any Kubernetes cluster or VM instance, then you have to manage that. So I will first create a storage bucket here. Okay, so yeah, I will just create bucket name with bkt employee data. Okay, and I'm not making it more customizations, and I'll create confirm. I'll copy bucket name, so I have to give bucket name. So where is bucket name? So bucket name, where is the variable mentioned for bucket name? Upload to GC. Okay, this is your bucket name. Okay, and one more thing, so here I am using my own credentials to execute this Python script and go connect to Google Cloud Storage. If you are not using own credentials, so how to use your own credential? So you have to write gcloud auth application default login. So because of this you don't need a service account. Okay, so it will use your own credentials, else you have to create service account key and use service account key. But using this command you don't need service account key, and by default your application will use your Gmail credentials. So I am running this command, and that's why it won't give permission error while connecting to storage bucket, because now it will have my account permissions. So let me try to run this code now, and we'll see if my file will get uploaded or there is any error, as we are running it for first time. Okay, so it created employee data CSV file here, and it will try to upload on storage bucket now. So let's refresh and we'll see. Yeah, file is here. Okay, So simply with the help of ChatGPT, we created this Python extraction script. So this script will generate dummy data and put into the storage bucket. So now instead of 10 records, I will go with 100 records now, because everything is working fine. So I'll go with 100 records. So just check the file size here. So it is 1.7 KB. Now let's see for 100 records. So it will take some time, more than 10 records. It will take a couple of seconds more. Okay, so let's refresh now. 1.7 KB. Okay, now 15 KB, because we added 100 records now. Now the first step is done, that extraction. We are extracting the employee data and loading into a cloud storage bucket. But how this data is look like, so let me show you. Yeah, so this is a comma separated data: the first name, last name, job title, department, email address, phone number, salary and password. So these are the things here. So salary, it is in number, password is in random characters. So these are employee data which we have to load into the BigQuery, and we have to mask the sensitive field like salary we don't want to show, and the password also we don't want to show. So this is our data we extracted and put into the storage bucket. Now we'll go to the cloud data fusion once the data fusion instance is up, and then we'll go to the BigQuery to load this data. So I'll wait for this instance to come up. Once it is up, we can start working on data fusion now. Okay, so meanwhile I'll just pause this video, it will take some time. So let me pause this video and we'll see once both the instances are up and running. Okay, our data fusion instance is up and running now. So we'll go to the data fusion. From here you can go to the data fusion UI. So data fusion is a no code ETL solution provided by Google Cloud. So here you don't need to do any kind of coding for transformation. It is just kind of drag and drop UI based tool. So I will show you how it is easy to use and how we can do more powerful transformation if you go with a data flow. So in data flow you have to do custom coding in Apache Beam, Python, but in data fusion it is heavy. But if your requirement requires lot of ETL jobs, then this is easy to set up tools. And so here there are different options like Wrangler, integrate, discover, govern, monitor, manage. So we'll go with Wrangler because this is used to explore, transform and clean data. So I'll go with a Wrangler. I will show you how Wrangler will look like and how we can create transformation. Okay, so this is our Wrangler plan and there are multiple connections options available. So I will go with a cloud storage connection. This is a default connection and I will use employee data. So here is list of all buckets I have available in my GCP project. So I will go with employee data bucket and I will pick a CSV file which we extracted using a Python. So first we'll set up the pipeline and then we'll try to automate everything using Airflow or Composer. Okay, so CSV file, use first row as a header. Yes, definitely we have to use because our CSV file contain the first row as a header. So we will use first row as a header. Okay, and we'll confirm. It will show all 100 records now. Okay, so data is passed and we can see the data. So we have column for like first name, last name, job title, department, email address. So in address we have taken a city, then phone number, salary and password. So what we'll do, we have to add some transformation here. Now what we'll do, so we'll apply some transformation. So here we can see two columns, first name, last name. So what I will do, I will create only one column as a full name. So I will select these two and I will just try to join two columns. Okay, and I will give the new column name as a full name. Okay, I will join it. Now you can see the column, full name column. Let me see where it is. Yeah, it is here. So the order, you can see, you can change the order. Now we'll add one more transformation. So what was our requirement? So in our requirement, it was to mask sensitive data. So we have two column here for sensitive data. One is salary and password. So I will now mask data for salary. So for salary, we have option here, mask data, and in mask data, show last 4 characters, last 2 characters, or custom. So I'll go with a custom. Okay, and I will select the salary I want to mask. Oh, mask data, custom selections. So we have to first select column, then mask, custom selections, and now we'll select all values I want to mask. Okay, so I will apply it. So what will happen, all salary will be masked. You can see the salary is masked now, and I have to do it for password, but password, I instead of masking, I will encode it. Okay, so for password I will go with encoding. So there are different options for encoding. I will go with the base 64. So your password will also encoded. Okay, so yeah, password is also encoded now to the encoding value. Let's try to apply. So I will close this transformation and I will try to apply different encoding. So encode, or let's say option. Okay, I will hash the password. Okay, and I will apply. Specified at line 3, there is error encountering passing hash, unable to find algorithm. Let's try again with other options. Let me close this. So hash, there are multiple. I will choose like something else. I'll try to apply. Okay, now you can see not displayable object. So the password is hashed using this content, that is non-displayable object. So as per our requirement, we masked sensitive information, that is salary as well as password, and we applied 3 transformations here. So that is like enough for our requirement. So I'll just, you can apply any transformation, you can do whatever transformation we want using just selecting this option. You don't need to do any kind of coding here. So I'll simply create pipeline and we'll see everything is green. So I have to create a pipeline as a batch pipeline. So even if it will fail, we'll check the errors and we'll try to troubleshoot, because we just now set up the instant and it might give some error for first time. Let's see. Okay, so now we have to create one sink. So this is the source, and sink will create a BigQuery. So we'll create a BigQuery sink. So sink is where we have to dump our data. So I'll just connect this to here, and there is option for this to, we can just align. Okay, so this is aligned, and now we'll set a BigQuery property, because we have not defined where we have to dump data, which is our BigQuery dataset, which is our BigQuery table. So now we'll create one BigQuery dataset in which we have to load this data. Okay, so what are the things it is asking? BigQuery label. Okay, auto detect dataset we have to mention, a reference name. So I'll just give BQ load. So dataset project ID, I will keep it auto detect, or I can give dataset project ID as well. So we'll see any available dataset we can use, or else we'll create a new dataset to loading our data. So let me just create new data set here. I'll just create data set employee, and I will fill the details here. Project PRJ POC 001 dataset employee. Table I will give emp underscore data, and rest of the fields I will keep as it is. So let's see if it will ask any more fields. So it will ask output schema, which all fields we have to load. I will keep everything as it is, and let's validate. So it should be green if I click on validate. If there is any error, we have to sort that error. If it is green, it means everything is fine. So it is currently validating and no errors found. Okay, so we can close it now. So pipeline is there. Now we can deploy this. So name, so I have to give pipeline name. So I will give ETL, only ETL pipeline I am giving. Okay, so let's save it, deploy, and then we'll run it. So now once it is deployed, it will go to another page and we can run a pipeline. Okay, so it is deployed now and we are on this page, so I can click on run. So it will start executing. So let's see if we'll face any error for first time. As of now we are good, we haven't faced any error. So you can check the details here. So logs you can check here. Currently the status is provisioning and it is failed, so we'll check the logs why it is failed. Scroll latest log, view advanced log. Provision task failed, insufficient disk total GB quota. Okay, so it means the quota is not sufficient, because as I earlier showed, for us it can give an error if you are using the free trial account. So available 2044, requested 3000. So why it is requesting this amount of quota? Let's check it. So let's see where it is asking for 3000 GB disk. That is not required. Let's go to configure. Okay, compute config. I think we can set up the customized config here. Master node, number of master 1, 8 GB. Okay, here is asking 1000 GB. That is not required. Even 100 GB is sufficient for us. Let me click on done, save, and let me run again, and we'll see if it will execute again or it will fail again. I think it failed again. Let's check the logs. Okay, I think this is the old log only. Let's check the configuration again. So we checked for master node, so we keep it 100 GB. Okay, fine. SSD, let's check worker node. Okay, this is again 100 GB. I will keep, instead of 1000 I will keep 100. I will save and I will run it again. Now you can see the status is changed to provisioning. It should change to running now. Now you can see the status change from provisioning to starting, and it should be in running. So always remember, at the back end it will create one dataproc instance even if you are using the data fusion. So if I go to dataproc, so while job is running, it will create one dataproc instance at the back end. Just for your understanding I'm showing. Okay, so here it created one a dataproc instance. Your pipeline will use this to execute. Okay, so this pipeline is still starting, and you can see now status is running, so we can check the logs. So let's view advanced log. some warnings that you should use SSD and all. We can ignore that now. So then we can scroll to update latest log. Okay, now it is running. If anything failed, the error will be displayed here. So let's wait for more logs to flow and then we'll see the data. So currently in our employee table there is no employee data set, there is no table. Once it is loaded, it will create a table in our data set. So let's wait, hope it should not fail. Even if it will fail, we have to troubleshoot that. So we can see some logs are flowing. Let's go and check in BigQuery if any table is created here. Let refresh. Yeah, and there is one table created, you can see. So let's see the data. If we got all masked data here, so we got first name, last name, job title, department, email, salary is masked, password it is not displaying the mask password. Okay, it encoded correct. So this is not exact value because what the value we have in our CSV file was different, so they have encoded the values. Okay, so this was the password values, small one, so they have hashed it or encoded with some another value. So this is not a correct password and that is encoded values. So yeah, our masking and all transformations are working and we are able to load the data. So as of now we extracted data, we push data to the cloud storage bucket using data for pipeline. We transform the data and load it into the BigQuery. Now on this data we can create a visualization. So let's go to Looker Studio and we'll see how to visualize data. Let me just wait for this job to succeed. Okay, this job is succeeded now. You can see job succeed. Now we'll see in a Looker Studio. I will create one blank report here and I will connect this to my BigQuery and visualize this data. So connect to BigQuery, recent project, POC project, employee data. I won't use this as my date range dimensions, so let connect a complete data first. So I just added the data set. Okay, so I don't need a record count, I don't need a first name and last name, I need a full name, so I will use a full name. So what else I need email ID, then I need a job title, then I need a department. Okay, and I don't need a password or salary. So these details I want to visualize, so I'll just bring it down. I will go to the page setting, I will change the color of the page, I will put some dark color. Okay, and for this table I will use light color. Okay, so we can make it as beautiful as we want. Now if we change to yellow, let's make it black again. Okay, so this is our data, and now we want to add some charts and filters. So let's add some bar chart. So we'll just add some one bar chart here. and this bar chart will display the information based on the dimension. So based on the job title, I will put it based on the department. So how many employees are there in each department. Let's do a pie chart. Because we are not having enough space here, so I'll just do it a pie chart. And based on department, I will create a pie chart. Okay, so 84% are belongs to department others, and you can see the department for others. So it is not giving all department, it is giving only few, and rest combining as a other department. So let's see if we can add chart for let's add bar chart itself, but there are too many columns value, so it is why not displaying correctly. But yeah, our main goal is to have some visualizations here, and let's add some control, like I want drop down list. So I want drop down list for a job title. So suppose I want only a training and development related job title individuals. Okay, so these two are related to training and development. So I added some filters here, so we can apply all kind of transformations here. So this is how we can create our Looker Studio report. Okay, we can just give a text here, employee report. We can increase the size to 30. Okay, we'll increase more, put it 72. It is not increasing the size correctly, so let me just do it again. Employee report. Okay, so that is how we visualized our data. So now see the complete flow. We extracted the data, we added in a storage bucket, then data fusion job uses the storage bucket file and load this data after some transformation, and the users are now visualizing using the Looker Studio. Now we have to make it automated using Airflow. Okay, so this video is already longer, so we'll create using Airflow automation in a part 2 of this video. So I will finish this video here itself, like we created data pipeline here, but now we want to automate everything using a Cloud Composer and Airflow. So let's see in another part of the video. So thank you for watching this video till then.